Eden. I own Next Chapter Books. Thank you so much, if you've never been here before, for visiting. I am so glad to be hosting Liam tonight for the Rippling Pages Live. Very exciting. This is our first podcast recording. As you can see, we're a tiny little bookshop, but what was really important to me when I opened this bookshop back in February is that this place is all about building a community. And Leeds has a small but mighty literary community that me and Liam are working together to make even bigger and better, alongside other great people in the city, such as Lucy, who works at Peirene Press, and lots of other friends of ours too. So it's absolutely my pleasure to have you here. If you've never been to Next Chapter, we are a women-led bookshop. All that means is about 80% of our titles on our shelves are by women or other voices that you might not have discovered before. But we're all about championing great voices that tell interesting stories about women or stories that you might not have read. So yeah, I'm so grateful to be able to host you both for this conversation, and it's going to be a great one. But I'm here if you need anything. But this is Liam and the Rippling Pages show, so take it away. And should we have a big round of applause for Agnes and Liam as well?
For Agnes, please.
For Liam.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that lovely introduction, Eden. So yeah, hello and welcome to the Rippling Pages podcast. This is the podcast where we have a coffee with the world's most interesting writers. I think some of you have got more than coffee tonight, something a bit stronger, to inspire your reading and your writing. And it's all crafted and created by me, Liam Bishop. But tonight we really are having a coffee with one of Sweden's most interesting writers, because we're here live and in person at Next Chapter Books in Leeds with Agnes Lidbeck. And of course, our lovely live audience. Now, life is full of adjustments, but perhaps there isn't a bigger adjustment than having children. But what happens when you start to question your role in this adjustment? Crucially, what happens when a mother starts to question her role in this adjustment? These are the questions at the heart of Agnes's novel, Supporting Act, published by Peirene Press and translated by Nichola Smalley. It is a beautiful novel about fierce devotion in the face of fierce questions that need to be asked about why certain people seem to take on certain roles in society. Agnes is the author of 5 novels, but this was her first novel, and it's her first to be translated into English. She is a renowned name. You really are a renowned name in Swedish letters, radio, TV, and this book alone was the winner of the prestigious Börs Debut Novel Prize. So we're here a part of Agnes's book tour, part of Modern Culture's programming of events called Stories from Sweden. So a massive thanks to Agnes for fitting us into her schedule. Massive thanks to Martin Colthorpe helping make this happen. And of course, massive thanks to Eden for hosting us in her bookshop. And a massive thanks to you guys for coming along once again. But let's give another warm welcome to Agnes Lidbeck.
Thank you.
Before we get going, remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends about the show. That's for our listeners, but anyone in the audience, of course, is welcome to do that if you enjoy the show, of course. But Agnes, let's get going.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to Leeds.
Thank you.
How are you finding Leeds?
Amazing so far. I had some of the best ice cream of my life just before we recorded. And then, you've also got me a donut. So
I've got your donut.
I'm looking forward to that as well, and the conversation.
I mean, it'd been really awkward if you weren't enjoying yourself, considering we've spent the afternoon together.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're enjoying it. But yeah, we've got some donuts, and we've got some. We've had some ice cream.
Sorry about the focus on the food.
What kind of stuff would you be eating in Sweden?
What would I be eating in Sweden on a Friday night? The typical Swedish thing to eat is tacos.
Tacos?
Yes, and very sad and boring tacos.
Why sad and boring?
They're made with like unflavored minced meat and then cucumbers, tomatoes, corn in a jar.
That sounds terrible.
Yes, it is, but it's part of...
You can spice tacos up.
I know. It's part of motherhood. It's for the children.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to Leeds.
You.
Let's get into your novel.
Yes.
The novel starts after the moment Anna has given birth to her son, Harry. And in that very instance, we see the adjustments she and her husband are having to make in the family. Can you just tell us about that opening and why you made those choices?
So, through the novel, I wanted to follow the life of one specific woman. It's a portrait of one woman, but I also wanted to focus on like the identities that she's supposed to fulfill, and one of the most like prominent ones is motherhood. You're in Sweden, at least, it's not so much a big question if you're not getting married, if you're living single, but choosing not to be a mother is still a a big taboo. So I wanted to start in motherhood because everything before that is sort of negotiable still. And I wanted to do it in an honest way, where it's not really glossed over, but just to be very upfront about what that experience can be like. Because it's, well, let's just say it's not like in the movies. Your water doesn't just suddenly break and then 5 hours later you're with your makeup on in a bed and then the kid is graduating. It's not exactly like that. So I wanted to give a more detailed and accurate description.
Yeah, we're straight into it, and all of a sudden you see it's a major adjustment in terms of having this sort of new person in the world.
Because it's the one thing you can't really walk away from. I mean, most other things you can walk away from and still be a moral person in some way. But motherhood, fatherhood, that's for life, hopefully. And so, it's something that is with you for every moment of the rest of your life. I mean, you can go home from a job and sort of not think about it. But even when you're at work, you still have the child, and it's somewhere in relation to you.
Is that the same
even if it's not in the same room?
Is that the same for everyone?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know everyone.
Is it the same for fathers, do you think?
I think perhaps it's hopefully becoming more equal in a sense that fathers are also expected to have a strong relationship with their children. I'm not sure it's always been like that. Let's put it that way.
Why don't you, I mean, how would you position, so Anna's husband is called Jens.
Yep.
How would you position their relationship at the start of this novel? Where are they at as a couple?
So they are a middle class, affluent Swedish couple. They have no real problems, I guess. They have good jobs. They live in Stockholm. They have a beautiful sort of charmed life. And they chose parenthood. They're stable. They're adult.
They have a level of comfort, I guess.
Yeah. And the thing that changes is that, and I try to show this in the book, that life changes more for Anna than for Jens, perhaps. And well, I mean, this is, as you mentioned, this is my first novel, and it's a sort of loose trilogy where the first one is about motherhood and the third one is actually about the father's role in the family. So I'm not saying that fatherhood doesn't have its challenges.
No, of course not.
But for Anna, I think one of the things that provokes her the most is Jens' ability to be his own person still. Whether when she feels that she has become simply mother, she loses her name. And Jens still has people calling him by his first name outside of the family. But she becomes mama. And that sort of loss of identity, I guess, is at the start of the book. From there on, I think she handles this loss of identity in ways that I find morally questionable. But still, I wanted to start the story in a place where we would feel some sort of compassion towards her. Then from there on out, she's sort of on her own with her choices. But start in a place of compassion.
Yeah, and I felt it for both. I felt it for Anna more, but I felt it for Jens as well. You can see that, Jens is suddenly stumbling over Lego in the dark in the middle of the night, and it's an adjustment for them both. But I feel there is clearly a comment that you're making about motherhood,
and the physicality of motherhood is hard to argue against.
Why don't you give us a reading and give us a flavour of what we're talking about here?
So just to explain, the novel has two layers, I suppose you'd call it, where one is, and it's important to say that I don't agree with everything in this novel. I've written every word, but I'm in opposition to a lot of the things that are being claimed in it. But there's a layer of like almost abstract Handmaid's Tales rules for life and for womanhood. That sort of goes through the novel, and it states that a woman must be three things, and sort of specifies how she must live up to these different roles. So I'll just give you a taste of that first, and then it's the first real scene, because the other layer is Anna's actual life and the story about her.
Amazing, thank you.
So the social contract is not negotiated at an individual level. It is universal, a set of rules that must be followed in order for society to function. The fundamental requirement is that a woman play three roles. She must be a mother, she must be desirable, she must provide care. Each role must be played in accordance with agreed guidelines. Her responses are predetermined. Improvisation is reserved for those of unsound mind. It is the woman who has the most to gain from maintaining these boundaries. As long as she remains comprehensible to those around her, she will also be comprehensible to herself. The opposite, being incomprehensible, is something she must fear, a symptom of a physiological or empathic shortcoming. An event becomes relevant only once it has consequences. For that reason, the story begins at the moment the woman becomes a mother. Before that, it was a children's fairy tale, without the restrictions of logic, with surreal elements and many possible endings. The room to which Anna and Jens are moved after the birth has 3 high windows. It is quiet, and outside the sun is shining. Anna sits up in the bed and holds her first naked child to her naked breast. It is recommended. It stimulates bonding and milk production. Jens sits alongside with his finger, the very tip, in the child's hand. Jens is drinking cordial and eating cheese sandwiches from a tray bearing the Swedish flag, which they knew would be there, which they joked about beforehand. A Swedish flag, how vulgar. Christ, they said in unison once the midwife had left. Anna is drinking coffee. Over the next 24 hours, the midwives come by roughly every other hour, different women, all pausing at the door. Sometimes Anna calls for them with a red button to check that everything is as it should be, that new twitches in the child's eyelids and changes in its temperature and the shooting pains down her side are as they should be. During these visits, Anna looks at the midwives, who look at the bag of urine hanging from between Anna's legs and at the few thick beads of milk she manages to press out of her nipples. She feels them palpate her abdomen, and she sees them looking at the blood collected in her sanitary pad. She sees them handing her pills. She sees them weighing her child. Anna wants to give the child all the names she has ever heard. It is covered in a layer of white wax. On its head is a blood-flecked cotton cap. It opens its bright eyes and it looks at Anna, and she looks back. Then the child parts its lips and begins to scream.
Thank you very much. What becomes immediately apparent in there and in that passage is, among all of this novel's grand things, is that it's about touch, tactility.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me a bit more about the choices behind that?
So Anna, she's not a warm person through the book. A lot of readers are quite frustrated with her. I'm quite frustrated with her. She goes through the motions rather than the emotions of life very much. She takes care, but from a place of wanting people to think she's a caretaker rather than like a true calling. And she stays in her marriage for longer than perhaps she should have, more because of what people will think of her than because of any need. And I wanted to challenge that sort of coldness that she feels by having her in an actual physical reality and world, where I guess the extreme of it is that she can be in very close physical connection with someone, sexual or taking care of a child, breastfeeding, touching her husband in a friendly way, in a kind way, and still be perfectly alone, emotionally and spiritually, because she never really connects to them to anyone really, not even her children, on a emotional level. So there's a classic quote from Swedish literature, one of the greats, who's talking about the lust of the body and the permanent loneliness of the soul.
Oh.
And I
Who
guess
said
Hjalmar Söderberg.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about my translation of it.
Okay.
It just
I get the point you
Yeah,
think you're making,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. Physical connection does not always translate into
Yeah.
spiritual
Yeah.
connection.
And I guess that was the point I was also trying to make, that even though she goes through life doing all the correct motions, there's something that is missing from her particular life.
Is that the frustration then?
I think the frustration for me when I was writing it was that she I guess the word is transgresses morally in some ways. She has a lover, an extramarital affair. She is unkind in places. She wishes for her husband to be dead in places. And all these things are immoral in a way. But I think the greater immorality is that she doesn't really own her own life and own her own decision. And I think that for me is the greatest point. Like, you have this one life and you have complete sovereignty over yourself. So why are you not doing anything about it? Yeah.
So that sense of immorality that you said, is that something that's sort of within Anna, or is that within society at large?
I think it's within society to a point, but it's definitely in Anna. When I was writing this, so that's almost 10 years ago, I was working quite a lot with women in the Gulf countries. Right. So I traveled back and forth between Saudi Arabia and Stockholm, between Riyadh and Stockholm. And to compare the realities of women in Riyadh at that time, especially, and the realities of my fellow middle class, well-off women in Stockholm, and then hear those who were in the same position as me complain about their inability to live their own lives. That was quite difficult for me.
Okay.
So I felt like, well, we have, because you have to understand that in Sweden we have 40 hours a week of paid childcare. You don't have to pay for it.
Wow. Okay.
Unless you're very wealthy, and then you have to pay like the equivalent of £100 a month.
Right.
We have a year and a half of paid parental leave, where you compensated up to 90% of your salary. And it's split equally between women and men.
Right.
So, and we do have a lot of things set up for equality. And to be in that position and still see women leaving work early and picking their children up, which is fine, and then complaining about having to do it, because it's really just a competition with other moms about who is the best mother and who gets to pick up their child the earliest from childcare. There's something there that just I felt needed to be discussed in a Swedish context. But then, after all, it's a book, it's a novel, it's a portrait of one person, it's Anna, it's a character in a book, not all women.
No, but I mean, it's interesting you said frustration, and I could sense your frustration with Anna.
Yeah.
And I wonder what it's like to write a character, to be eternally frustrated with a character throughout the course of a book. But I felt a lot of things for Anna.
Yeah.
And I felt a sort of fear for her, and I felt fear for Harry, just how fragile and tender he is. And I can see that in her hands. And I felt this kind of pain. And Anna talks a lot about being in a kind of pain, a physical pain. Yeah. Do you agree with that? But also, I wonder if is there a level of sort of spiritual pain that we might call?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that another person than Anna might put the word spiritual pain to it. But for her, it's easier to feel it in the body maybe than to acknowledge the emotion.
Yeah, and I don't mean spiritual in the sense of, religious.
No. Yeah.
But that psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah, disembodied.
Like the way your back hurts, and that can be a real thing, that you're actually so tensed up a lot of the time that your back does hurt. But what's the sort of egg and the chicken?
Chicken and the egg, yeah. No, that's a universal phrase, I think, Dory. But there's parts, you're right, and there's some sentences here. The pain moves around her. Harry digs his hands into her. He continues to leave marks on her. He grinds his hairless head against it and against everything else. Those verbs are really abrasive, and that's a really interesting way of writing a physical relationship.
Yeah, I think because Anna is also very used at the beginning of motherhood to being the person she was before, when her physical self was very much defined by her sexuality and her relationship to men, like adult men, who's not her child.
Yes.
And so for her, a lot of the like giving of the body that she has to do as a mother to this young baby reminds her of quite unpleasant experiences of accommodating desire.
Wow. That's very powerful.
Thank you.
I saw the physicality, but I didn't see it like that, and that is that's a really powerful image. Well, should we talk about the men?
Yes.
If you don't mind.
The men.
The men, yeah. There's two men really in this book.
Yeah.
And Jens, her husband.
Yeah.
And then there's also a man called Ivan.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about the differences between these two men and the significance of them?
So Jens is in many ways an ideal husband. He is kind. He cooks. You might say he's a little bit boring, I guess. He's not maybe the most like adventurous person, but he's kind, he's stable, and Anna hates his guts. There's a scene where she wishes that he'd hit her or become an alcoholic, because then she could explain why she'd want to leave him, and it would make it okay to want to leave him. But just his persistence in being a good guy is so provocative to her. She just feels like he won't let me out of this. He won't give me the reasons that I deserve to leave. But he's, I mean, I wouldn't mind being married to Jens. I think he's a nice person. And then there's Ivan. And Ivan was so much fun to write, which I needed after spending a lot of time with writing Anna. She's not the laugh a minute, but Ivan was fun to write. He's an elderly sort of philosopher / author / person who speaks on like important radio shows about events that are important-ish.
Important-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
What are those?
So maybe not like current events.
Okay.
Because he's quite old and he's quite out of touch with the society. But I think he'd be good on like Spinoza, you know.
So sort of like.
But less good on like Palestine, because he doesn't really follow along with what's truly important.
So yes, Spinoza, but not kind of world issues.
Yeah.
There's a radio station called Radio 4.
Okay.
And we have those kind of, so about 9:30 every Wednesday, I think there is a program about Spinoza. And so if you listen to that, you
will hear Ivan.
Yeah, you'll hear
sorry,
Ivan.
I might be talking.
No, and it is very interesting. But why is that so exciting and compelling to Anna?
So Anna, I find Ivan to be a bit of a problem. But so she really likes there's an idea in psychology called limerence.
Okay.
Where you fall deeply into like passionate like with someone that you don't really know at all.
Yeah.
Because of sort of the idea of the life that they would give you, the relationship that could happen. And it's typical, you know, you've been chatting to someone for like 4 days and you're like, yes, when we go to Barcelona. That's
An
that's
infatuation
limits.
sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, but almost in a sort of sickly way, where it becomes a problem. So Anna is actually looking to feel something, and he can offer that, the sort of unrequited love to start with, that she's more passionate about maybe than if he said like, oh yes, let's go to IKEA together. And also she's really interested in having a recognizably intelligent man be interested in her.
Okay.
Because if someone who is sort of acclaimed for their intelligence likes her, then she will be by association seen as an interesting person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is complex.
It's complex, but it does happen. We do fall in love with people because of what they say about us, like a brand almost. Like, am I the person who buys coffee in Starbucks or not coffee in Starbucks? Am I the person who this kind of person would like or this kind of person would like? And I think it's less about their personal qualifications and more almost like the man as an accessory. It does happen. I'm sorry, but it does.
No doubt in it.
Yeah.
Did you see something in the world like that inspired Ivan even?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not going to name names.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No Rippling Pages exclusives tonight then.
No
libel either.
Yeah.
Nobody needs that.
Sorry about the guy on the BBC 4 show if I likened him to this person.
Okay, don't worry. I wonder if Melvin Bragg, if you're listening, we apologise for. Okay, good to know. So what I find interesting, at least, is that between Ivan and Jens, some of that imagery returns that we saw early in the novel, and Anna refers to herself as trying to tear herself away from his grip. Maybe I won't be able to tear myself from his grip or their grip. Is that all a fantasy then?
It's self-suggestion.
Self-fulfilling?
Yeah, it's the idea of having a passion that's so strong that you're not able to tear yourself away from it, rather than actually having the passion. Okay. I did write sort of this book in a sort of very brief and not at all on the same level, and I'm not comparing and blah 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 to Anna Karenina.
Okay, interesting.
Who is a woman whose sort of fault that she's punished for is her extreme passion, and then Anna is punished for her lack of passion, almost like the description and what most, especially female readers, find so problematic about her is that she lacks true emotion.
Right.
So I'm sort of investigating the space between Anna and Anna Karenina, where sometimes it feels like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you leave your children for your great passion, there's something wrong with you. And if you never really feel anything, but you're really good at boiling pasta, then there's something wrong with you as well. So that sort of very narrow space where it's okay to be as a woman, I guess that's where I tried to discover her. A
narrow space. It is a narrow space that she has.
Yeah.
And I hadn't picked up on Anna Karenina.
Yeah.
But I can see it now completely. Yeah. But I guess the fate of Anna is a little bit different to Anna.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thankfully.
Yeah. And she makes some very different choices.
Yeah.
She never does like become overpowered by anything outside herself.
Well, let's come back to that in a minute. We're going to have a quick break on the Rippling Pages. Did you know, though, Agnes and everyone else, that there is a Rippling Pages bookshop? It's all online and it's hosted by bookshop.org.uk. So all books from the Rippling Pages guests are stocked on there, including yours, Agnes. And the best bit, all the books are sourced from indie bookshops like Eden's. Why not have a browse and see if you fancy picking up a book? So let's get back into it then.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Rippling Pages, and welcome back, Agnes. Time is very interesting in this novel in that respect, and Jens and Ivan open up this debate, I think, about the way you write about time. We move really quickly through time. We're passing over years.
Yeah.
And it takes a couple of reads to see that. I've read it a few times now, and it took me a few. Obviously, I saw it happening, but how you do it is incredibly skillful. But what I find interesting is that you have still quite a lot of time to make descriptions of very specific domestic details. Why did you choose to keep those in such a novel that's got such a span? The kind of routines around the home and life.
So I for me, it was a way of being true to what Anna actually picks up on. Like sometimes when I think back of like past 10 years, it's very hard to place the greater things sort of on a timeline. Like when did that happen, and was it in 2022 or 2019?
In the world generally.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And also in my own life. Like when did I have that fight with my mother or stuff like that? But when I think back to 2019, I can be very sure about like the way that life was managed at the time. And it often boils down to like, how young are the children?
Okay.
And
your children.
Yeah. So how much of a caretaker of young children am I? And what does that mean for my own sort of day-to-day life? And that's the way I guess it is for Anna, that like taking care of people is the way, and taking care of the environment that they're all in is something that shapes her days. She does have a job, but we speak less of that in the book.
Do the characters have a different sense of time to Anna?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you ask Ivan whether it's time to start supper, he wouldn't have an idea. Supper is something that just appears or doesn't. If you ask him about the lifespan of Spinoza, he's well read about that. He's also older. He's moving towards a sort of ending, I guess. And he's not upset about that, actually, because he feels that finally, like after death, he might get the true recognition that he deserves.
Classic writer.
Yeah.
Classic male writer.
Yeah. So he's a little bit excited about it, and also he's less than sure about the piece he's working on right now.
Okay.
And he's like, maybe if it comes out like posthumously, they won't be able to give me a bad review.
Okay.
I'll be dead and they'll have to say nice things.
Okay.
So his timeline is different. Yeah.
His timeline is different, and it doesn't sound very doomful, but there's an impending sense of, but what I find interesting is that Anna's, if anyone's got a sense of their time being appropriated and taken, it's Anna's.
Yeah.
Not Ivan's.
No.
Ivan's running out of time, but it don't really feel like that.
No.
And Anna's has been taken by, she's caring for Ivan, but her children are still clawing at her.
Yeah.
Clawing, literally, they want her time and attention.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. And just like also the discussion on time might not be the number of years you have, but sort of the amount of time you have in a day to be your own person. And she has not much of that. So even though she's younger, she will probably live longer. She has like a lot of time on her hands.
Yeah.
It's taken up and sort of divided into these pieces where you can't really, it's like scrap paper.
Yeah.
You can't really make anything of it in the end because it's torn to such small pieces by everything that's happening around her. So she can't fit a sentence on those papers.
That's really sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, life is sad. Yeah.
No, but there's something that's a little bit, I don't want to say tragic about that, but there's something really sad about that.
I would call it the tragic comedy.
Okay.
The book.
There's lots of dark, really kind of bleak humor in there. I'll give you that, but.
So it's a tragedy, but I tried to make it a fun read.
Yeah.
Which is a combination that I worked quite hard to get because I want people to be like chuckling and also feeling repulsed by themselves for laughing at something that's quite dark. Actually.
Okay, interesting. I think there is this space in the novel for the fact that we do have these quite incompatible, troubling thoughts.
Yeah.
And, Anna goes to therapy. And the book reminded me of sort of psychotherapy in a way, because it is a space to have these, well, what we might be called troubling, but obviously very sort of dark thoughts. But do you think Anna, she's allowed to have them, isn't she? We're allowed to have those. Obviously, if we don't act on them. But why was it important for Anna to have those thoughts compared to someone else, maybe?
For one thing, to just make the point of the book, I guess, is one way to explain it. But I also, like I was talking about, I want to present the reader with a woman that is inexcusable in a lot of ways, and then ask you to maybe still forgive her.
Yeah.
And if she has all these redeeming qualities, it's going to be easier for you to forgive her, but it's going to be less of a movement within the reader to do that. So I was trying to give a very honest and unflattering portrait, and then be like, okay, but can you see why, and can you forgive her for acting this way still?
I mean, I did.
I'm not sure I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I feel that there's a sort of really, especially on people who do have, I'm a bit of a Marxist.
We're getting into it now.
Slightly Marxist. And
Okay.
I do feel that it's, we have a responsibility to ourselves and to others, and to sort of blame circumstances for the way your life pans out when there's no really bad circumstance to blame. That I find troubling in her.
And that goes back to what you were saying about Sweden and the Swedish. But that's just also being a good human, isn't it?
Yeah.
Life and Is Anna a Marxist then, or?
Anna is not.
Okay.
No. Anna is not me.
No, I didn't.
I'm very far from her.
But that's just, I know ideology, but that's just about being taking responsibility for things.
Yeah. And
she has a lot of responsibility though.
She does, but she doesn't take responsibility for herself.
Right. Okay.
So that's, I guess, the thing.
Okay. But it's hard for her to do that though, isn't it? Or not?
It could be harder.
It could be harder.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so interesting. Because I just saw all these people around her.
Yeah.
Trying to
hold her. I think no one is trying to hold her down except herself. I mean, if she'd said to Jens early in their marriage, like, I feel like I can't breathe anymore because of with the kids, and and I just really need like one night on my own every week where I can just do some bloody pottery or something. He would have given it to her, but then she would have to give up the sort of idea of herself as the suffering woman. Wow. So she's more interested in keeping this idea of herself alive than in getting what she might actually feel good doing. Yeah.
It's really, really challenging, isn't it? I mean, so we're gonna. If anyone's got any questions, then it's time to load them up as we come toward the end. But a writer that you did remind me of was Annie Ernaux.
Oh.
And the way you move through time, and the way you write about being a woman in the world and desires and different kinds of desires. But this is your first book.
Yeah.
You've got 5 more books. Yeah. Well, 4 more books.
4 more books.
In Sweden.
My 6th is coming out next year in Sweden, and my 5th is coming out next year on Peirene.
Okay, so your 5th one's going to be translated over here.
Yeah.
Is there any more Annas in there?
No.
Okay. Sounds like you've had your time with Anna.
It's a dystopian view of what happens when fascism takes over and nobody really cares because they're still going on with their lives undisturbed. So it's also a laugh fest. Yes.
Well, it's well, I'm excited to see that for sure. But it's is it a progression? Is it a progression from this at all, or is it?
No. It's. I mean, I've written, as I said, that's my 5th novel, and I've written like a lot of different things between this one and that one. It's set in the same sort of environment.
Yeah.
And I do have this sort of recurring aggression towards bourgeois society, which I'm part of myself.
Okay.
So against against my neighbors. I do have quite a lot of problems with the way that people can live very comfortably while the world is happening. So that's the same, I guess, between Supporting Act and this new one that's coming out.
Supporting Act, it does make me think of those metaphors that some of the Marxists used to write about. I'm going back to my student days now, but superstructures and all that kind of business. But I find it, I mean, you've talked about frustration a lot, and this sense of desire has not been fulfilled. How does that feel? It must be strange talking about your first book several years later to a new audience.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Does the frustration come back? Has it always been there? Are you more frustrated when you look back to Anna and people are asking you these questions about her?
No, I'm not more frustrated. Okay. I feel more kindly towards Anna now than I did.
And why is that?
Because one of the reasons I wrote this was like an exorcism in order not to become her.
Okay.
I saw that sort of the path my life could have taken, which would have been like to choose the life of an Anna, and I chose instead to write, to break up my family, to have my kids part-time, all the things that she doesn't really choose to do. And I think writing this book was part of like that sort of taking charge of what's actually going on in my life. And when it first came out in Sweden, I was so still sort of sore about it that I really did not like her in any way, shape, or form. And I was just like in interviews being like, she's the worst person ever. And then now I feel more like, well, poor thing.
Yes. Is that a relationship that's changed within you then? Within yourself?
Yeah.
And you're relating
I've found the forgiveness that I'm asking the reader to find, I guess, for her.
Good. Well, I'm pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
Was the writing of the book what sent you down that path?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you have a more forgiving relationship with Anna. Because I think I felt a lot for Anna.
That's really nice to hear.
And you sound really surprised, and I'm really surprised that you're surprised. And we're all surprised now.
Yeah, but I mean, this book has been it's gotten such a strange reception because half of the people who read it, excluding you actually, because you're the one exception to this rule.
Maybe I'm the problem.
But half the people who I've talked to are like, I can't believe you wrote about Anna. She's so unpleasant. There's no way she could be real. And the other half are like, I can't believe you wrote about Anna. It's like you're inside my head and you know exactly what I'm thinking. And this splits equally between men and women. It doesn't seem like a male-female thing.
Right.
So that's part of the reception. Another thing, because people tend to feel strongly about the book. I was walking down the street in Stockholm on my way to work, and this was when the book had just come out, maybe a year after. And a woman is riding her bicycle on the opposite side of the street. She turns around, she catches up to me, and she's like, "Are you Agnes Lidbeck?" I'm like, "Yes." "Is this an old colleague, university friend?" And she's like, "Did you write Finase, which is the title in Swedish?" I'm like, "Yes." She's like, "I've got a divorce now. Are you happy?" And I was like, "I'm sorry-ish."
Goodness me.
Yeah. Which was such a strange sort of people.
Was she happy now? I think that's a question.
She seemed happy, but if she's listening, how are you doing?
Wherever you are, the lady in the street in Stockholm.
Yeah.
I hope you're bloody happy.
It's gotten, and that's like the funniest story, but there's been a lot of like incidents like that where people are just really feeling stuff about the book.
But that's what it does. It gets to the heart of it. It gets to the heart of it. It gets to the feelings.
Yeah.
It makes you project things. It makes you, transfer things. And I think I'm sorry that you had that interaction.
No, it was quite interesting actually.
But it's so good. It's so interesting that, books provoke that reaction still.
Yeah.
And people respond.
Yeah.
And they feel perhaps not too enlivened to come out and find you. But
No.
We've got about 10 minutes if anyone's got any questions that they'd like to ask Agnes. If not, I've got some more. Yeah, please.
I don't know. So it's obviously been translated into English.
Yeah.
Do you find you've got a different relationship with the English translation of Anna to sort of the original?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
I think
perhaps we should repeat it. So now that it's translated into English, do you have a different relationship with the English Anna?
so the
Try and answer that.
Yeah, I've been on this tour that I'm doing. I've been doing a lot of talks together with my translator, Nichola, who's great and who's becoming a friend. We really work well together. So we've been talking a lot about like the act of translation, and I can't really speak to that. I've never translated anything for like professionally. But the difference is like I was talking about, set in a Swedish context, Anna is, I guess, even more problematic than she would be in a place where she wouldn't have those same, especially economical freedoms that she would in Sweden. Like if you're actually not being able to have that free childcare for 40 hours a week, life becomes very different very quickly. So that's one thing, like looking at her in a different context. The other thing about translation is that, so when I write, that's a process of translating my ideas and the words that make sense to me into something that would make sense for a reader. So if I work from my personal experience or personal material, I need to sort of translate it into something that would make sense for other people. And then the Swedish reader will take that and translate it into their own experience. And in this case, Nichola has taken that experience and translated into her experience of what it would sound like in English. And then the reader takes that translation and translates it again into their own personal, specific sort of imagery. So at this point, there's like 4 steps, I guess, between what's in my head and what's in your head. And that's the point. And that's what's so amazing about literature, that it can do that. But it also makes it, for me, kind of redundant what I think about the translation, because I'm not the judge. You would be, if you have the time to read it. Yeah.
It's a really good question. Thank you. Are there any more? Please. Thank you.
Do you feel that Anna's detachment is because of taking on mother, or is she that odd person that decided a mother and then she has to deal with that?
It was a really nice question. But that sense of, so kind of what came first, the detachment to motherhood or detachment within motherhood. And then how, I guess it was about how we write books about motherhood.
Yeah.
And there are lots of books on motherhood.
Yeah. That's a really good question. And I've thought about it a lot, and I've decided to let Anna be contained within the covers of the book. Like, she doesn't have anything going on before, and she doesn't have anything going on after. So she's just in the book. And I don't know what she would have been like otherwise. So the way that she lives her very contained life is also that I keep containing her between the like pages of the book.
And is that because being?
Yeah, I think so. And it can also, I mean, it's also liberating in a lot of ways, but there are so many books about the joys of motherhood.
I think it's, I mean, and just to pick up on the translation note as well, Nichola Smalley has done an amazing job.
Yeah.
I was just reading last week the Swedish Czech Polish writer Andrzej Tichy. Yeah, Wretchedness. And that book is so different to this. Its prose is so different. The kind of language of the streets, might call it, compared to your spare direct style. And it's to Nichola as well that, you know, we're able to read this book.
Yeah.
But also different ways of translating as well. And
at some point you have to think about, like, is this thought worth cutting it down a tree for? And just to be like, should I say this again, or should I wait until I have something to say that maybe I think is worth it? And I think problematizing motherhood is worth.
Fantastic. We are surrounded by some women writers in a bookshop talking about women.
Yeah.
Women in the diverse, womanhood in diverse ways and diverse approaches and diverse identities within that. So it has been so fitting to have you here. I'm so pleased that I've been asked to do this and been able to sit here with you, surrounded by some other fantastic books and a fantastic audience.
Yeah.
You've chosen to start our weekend with us. It's incredibly grateful. We've pulled this together quite quickly, and I'm really grateful for Eden for supporting it. But
Thank you.
I love this. Such a lovely life, meeting such interesting people.
And I really liked your read of the book.
Thank you.
I have to
Appreciate
say,
it.
it was refreshing. That it's the first time on this tour that I have met someone who's not like, Anna, I don't like her.
Do you think?
I'm really happy about it.
Do you think am I the problem?
No,
this?
you're not
okay,
the problem.
Right,
you're not
okay.
the problem.
Have we got another hour, Eden? We have to have another hour here. It's been my joy and my pleasure. So thank you for coming to Leeds. It means a hell of a lot. But I think we should give it up to Agnes Lidbeck. Got a bit of time to sign some books and get some sold. Everything else is on sale.
Yeah.
Let's give it up as well for Eden and for Adam's in the bookshop.
Thank you.
And of course to you, wonderful audience. Thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate it big time. Thank you.
Thank you.